everybody, it's Melissa. Yesterday on YouTube Live, somebody asked me to name 2 overhyped fragrances, the most overhyped fragrances, one on the designer side, one on the niche side. And like I always tell y'all, I rarely find things overhyped, and I hate that word because typically in order for something to be overhyped, it has to be very popular. And the most popular fragrances in the game right now totally deserve the spots that they're in because they perform well, they are mass appealing, and yeah, those are basically the 2 boxes. They're popular for a reason, right? But if I had to pick fragrances that within the fragrance community I saw reviews of and I was interested in, and then I ended up hating it, these would be my options for it. So I guess I'll use the word overhyped, even though I don't like to use it, but you guys asked me about it. All right, so the very first one was Ultra Male by Jean-Paul Gaultier. Both of these fragrances were very early on in my fragrance journey, and this was during the time that I was reading Fragrantica reviews. I thought, okay, Fragrantica reviews, it's, people are just giving their input about it. Little did I know that a lot of people on Fragrantica I would completely disagree with. I have learned now in my fragrance journey that whenever Fragrantica says something is amazing, I'm probably going to end up hating it. Or if they say, oh, they hate something, I'm going to end up liking that fragrance. And sure enough, when I step out wearing it, other people are going to like it as well. So just a quick side note, a lot of people that are on Fragrantica of course, you have to create an account to be on Fragrantica, right? And your average person, when they buy a fragrance, if they like it, when they smell it, they're not going to go write like a 5-paragraph essay on why they love a fragrance or why they hate a fragrance. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a very particular niche group of people that are super passionate about this, that their noses are probably going to be more advanced than a majority of people that you're going to be interacting with. So definitely know that if you're a beginner, I look at Fragrantica for what people say what the note breakdown is, but not what people say. So that's just my 2 cents on it. But in the beginning, I remember smelling Ultra Male at Macy's. It was on a test strip. I tried that one alongside Le Male. And to be honest, whenever I try something on a test strip, I don't consider it a full thing until I try it on my skin. But I remember smelling both of them and really not caring for either of the fragrances. So I remember watching a lot of videos and I kept seeing Ultra Male pop up. And I'm like, okay, a lot of people are talking about this fragrance. I don't remember what it smelled like, right? So I just decided, okay, let me watch a bunch of videos. Let me read a lot of these reviews. And y'all, it was it compelled me to buy the fragrance because it almost came across as a 5-star scent. Like, there's no way you're gonna hate this fragrance, right? So I ended up blind buying it. I say blind buy even though I smelled it previously, but again, on a test strip, and I didn't remember it. And I got it for $90. I remember I sprayed that fragrance and I was trying so hard to love it. I tried so hard to force myself to love the fragrance. And I'm sure that you probably have seen a video of me early on when I was making fragrance videos, talking about Ultra Male and being like, oh yeah, I like this fragrance. But at that time, I was very new to this. And I think there was definitely that feeling like the odd person out because, okay, everyone online is saying that this is amazing and that they love it, but I don't feel that way at all. I think it was just not, like, it wasn't good. There was nothing about it that was gripping to me, but I was still so naive. Like, I knew that's what I was feeling, but my head was like, you paid for this fragrance. You're going to learn to love it. A lot of people like this scent. There has to be something you're missing. So I was really just trying to pick the pieces. And I remember I was with my sister and I was with her boyfriend as well. My sister hated that fragrance. She was like, yeah, ew. She just was not with it. Her boyfriend, though, I remember that when he came over a couple times, he would spray it on himself. And he's like, yeah, like, it's pretty good. It's all right. And I'm like, all right. My sister hates this. I don't like this fragrance, but her boyfriend likes this fragrance. And then that is the first scent that really had me thinking. I'm like, why can I not like this like everybody else? And I went back to look at some reviews, and some comments of what people were saying. And every single person that was talking so positively about this scent was a guy. And I was trying to look, I'm like, hold on, let me see if I can find any videos of whether it's women talking about it and just like having raving reviews. I didn't find anything. And that's when it clicked. I said, every review, everything that I saw was from, like a male nose perspective of things. And it totally clicked to me, and I'm like, all right, this is definitely a type of fragrance. And I'm not saying that women as a whole don't like it. I think we all are not stupid to believe that things are that black and white. Of course, that could be somebody's most complimented fragrance from women. I believe it. And you also have to take into consideration where you live. So I live somewhere where it's warm. And if you live somewhere where it's cold, it probably is a more intoxicating scent. I can understand that. But, and they weren't the only two people that had comments about Ultra Male, because I tried wearing it. The girls that I wore it around did not like the fragrance. And it's not just on me, because I know what you're thinking, oh, it's the way it smells on you. It's not blah, blah, blah. I sprayed it in the air, and I wouldn't show them the bottle. I wouldn't say anything about the fragrance. I would spray it in the air, or I would even apply it on them or their partner, and just, you tell me what you think about this scent. All the girls hated it. All the guys liked it, or semi-liked it. That's how it was. That was my experience with Ultra Male. So I'm like, this is not something that I really rock with. So I've just kind of learned to, whenever people ask me, oh, like, do you like Ultra Male? Do you recommend it? I don't like it, but I will recommend it if you are a guy that likes sweet fragrances and you want something like that. To be honest, I would much rather recommend Stronger With You by Armani. I find that much sexier. I think Ultra Male is just, it's sticky, and it's just not there for me. So that one, I guess you can consider an overhyped fragrance in my experience, where the internet was saying something and I was very naive and gullible to believe, all right, yeah, let me get this. I was very influenced by that. And then I've come to that conclusion, and I'll still get people nowadays that see my video from, I think, over 2 years ago about it. And they're like, oh, what happened? You said you liked it and now you don't. Which one is it? I'm like, my most recent opinion is probably the date of that video. So if you're asking me in 2024 if my opinion of Ultra Male is the same as it is now, or is it the same as it was back then, it probably is the most recent. So right now, what is it, March 29th or something? I hate Ultra Male. I don't like that fragrance. That's the one designer fragrance. That, and not Alien, Angel by Mugler. I hate those scents. I don't like anything about them. I don't find them sexy. I don't find them attractive. Whenever I smell them, they're very off-putting. And Ultra Male does get nauseating. I don't find it to be like, I'll have guys that are like, is it true it's a panty dropper fragrance? And I'm like, again, and it's all experience stuff. No, like, the women hated it. The guys loved it. It could be, in my experience, it seems like it's more of a boxer dropper fragrance. But again, you have to tailor that to what you like and what, the people you're going to be around, if maybe your partner or something, if they'll like it on you. Okay, it's very much, how do I say it? It's all subjective. All of this stuff is subjective. Now, the niche fragrance that was overhyped to me was Creation E by Roja Parfums. Man, I was excited to try this fragrance. I actually was gifted that scent from Roja. It was the very first fragrance that they ever gifted to me. It was that, actually, and Oceania. They came as a pair. And I was like, oh, it was the first free niche fragrance bottle that I got in this really high-end company. I was very early on in making fragrance videos and stuff. And I just remember seeing so many videos of people having it in their list and on Fragrantica gushing about it. They're like, this is a sexy, boozy Coca-Cola fragrance. And it's just so so intoxicating, so masculine, so amazing, blah, 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 blah. Dude, I tried this fragrance. Smells like an antique shop. Yes, I can get a little bit of a Coca-Cola vibe. And again, remember what I said. This is very early on in my fragrance journey. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, there has to be a reason a lot of people are raving about it, a reason why a lot of people love this fragrance so much. So even though I didn't initially like the scent, I was trying to force myself to like the scent because there's got to be something, right? And I didn't. And I believe I told you guys, I'm like, I cannot rock with this fragrance. And I remember very early on too, getting a lot of hate and backlash from the fragrance community when I dropped videos saying that I didn't like that fragrance. People were like, oh, you're just like they were using the word noob. I haven't seen the word noob in a YouTube video, bro. What is this, RuneScape? I was just like a noob. They were very upset and enraged by my dislike of Creation E, also known as Enigma. I think in the UK they call it Enigma. And truly, y'all, I didn't find it sexy. Sure, it's definitely more masculine than feminine, but it smells like you just walked into an old antique shop with a Coca-Cola in your hand and you took a big whiff. If you find that sort of smell attractive, kudos to you. But I sure as hell didn't. And of course, I did the same thing in the beginning as well. Whenever I would try fragrances and I would receive gifts, my sister was always a really good person to get her opinion on things, because every single time when she liked something, when I step out and I wear it, it's a hit every single time. So that's why I tell y'all, the fragrances that my sister loves are always standouts, because I try a lot of scents and for the most part, she never comments on them. But then in the beginning stages, you know, I was trying these things. I would never tell her any notes, and the same for myself. I didn't like to look at things previously before I would make a video, because I just want to see what I gathered from it. And right now I can't even tell you what the note breakdown of that fragrance is, because I'm going off of what I remember smelling, okay? So even for, I tried wearing that thing too. I did 3 sprays of that, and I never told her to give me her opinion, but her and I were in a car. We were going somewhere. I think it was to support like a cousin's basketball game or something. And she's driving. I'm in the passenger seat, and she goes, "What are you wearing?" And I go, "It's called Creation E by Roja." And I could already tell by her voice, like, she didn't fuck with it, right? And she just has this sort of face where she's like, and I look at her, I was like, "What do you think?" She's like, "I don't like that." She's like, "That's, ugh." She does that. And then she does this, because she's in the driver's seat, right? She pushes both our windows down. She opens both the windows all the way down. And she was like, "Yeah, I don't like that. If you're gonna wear that, don't wear it around me." And I was like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that is probably the most diabolical thing that you could do to somebody when they're wearing a fragrance and you're in a car like that. You already said you didn't like it and you're like, fuck it, I'm opening the windows. Like, that's just trash. That's terrible, right? So that always stuck in my head with it, because I remember even for me, before she said anything, because it was a relatively warm day. It was like a spring day, you know, a couple years back. And I remember being in the car and I'm like, I probably shouldn't have done 3 sprays of this. Maybe I could have done like 1 or 2, right? And I was like wearing like a white shirt and stuff. And you could say here, like, yeah, it's just because it was on you, blah, blah, blah. And it smells great on me. I'm so happy that if you think it smells great on you, I love that for you. I truly, truly do. Believe me. But like I've told you before, the fragrances that I test and I give you guys opinions on, it's not just something, oh, I'll wear it on my skin, and I'll test it on clothes, I'll test it in the air and give you the opinions on that stuff as well. But even in the air, she hated it. And also that time, I think it was on clothes, hated it, just like a typical shirt. So that fragrance just I till this day, I don't like it, and I will still get backlash. And it's always super funny, because whenever I would tell and make videos and say that I don't like Creation E, there's a very specific group of people that love Roja Parfums, and I think for, you know, they're niche heads, right? They want to collect all the fragrances. Roja's a very high class sort of brand. So I remember before, it was so funny. I had one of my followers message me on, I think it was TikTok, when I had TikTok DMs or something. And she said, "Hey, Melissa, did you know that you have there's like a Facebook group that's talking about you right now?" And I was like, no, I don't have Facebook. That's crazy. What's going on? And she said that they're hating on you right now for the video that you posted about Creation E. And at this point, I'm like, I don't really want to read hate comments. Like, I'm still getting that thick skin, you know? Like, of course, I'll receive hate comments and I'll be like, okay, I can't really worry about it. But I got the better of myself and I clicked on the link that she sent. And no joke, bro, it was like grown ass people. Like, kid you not, grown ass people. Like, my video was tagged there. And just saying like the most horrendous shit about, because I didn't like, Creation E, and they were like, oh, she doesn't even know, like even talking about the bottle, like, oh, she's saying that this is blah blah blah, like it's actually fucking, like, I don't know what material the bottles, they were just using all this sort of stuff, and just absolutely like taking screenshots of me in the video and like, me mid blink and stuff, like, oh, blah blah blah. And I'm like, what is going on? So that was the first time that I ever remember experiencing that, if you give your honest opinion about like a niche fragrance that's well loved and stuff like that, people get very emotional in this game. Like, it's not all of a sudden the idea of, okay, fragrances are subjective totally goes out the door. It's like the snobbery comes into play where it's like, well, you're not on this level. And it was just so weird. It was so strange watching like parents and stuff act like middle schoolers. I'm like, what the heck are these creatures? I'm like, this is me? I'm like, what? And it was like a long thread, and it was going on for days. And y'all, if I find that thing again, it'd probably make me laugh. But like, that was both of these like fragrances that I'm telling you in this video. And I know that this is a pretty long video, but I gotta share my experiences with you because you kind of gotta see where I was in my journey at the time. And I think that you guys have to tell me if like anything similar has happened to you before too, where you're watching videos or you're consuming content, you're reading reviews on stuff. And even if it's my videos, right? If you watch something and you're like, fuck, I bought Elysium. She's been talking about this for years. I think it's garbage. Damn, I bought Salt and Pepper and I hate this fragrance. And I always tell you guys with that one, that I find is like the perfect lesbian fragrance. I know, like, it's a scent, like I say, women are the ones that are going to love it. So for me, being a woman that likes to wear masculine fragrances and wearing a scent that I know women are going to go nuts for, it's just perfect. But again, if you're a guy wearing that, you're not going to understand it. You're not going to get it. You're just going to think I'm talking about it just to push something on you. But I've been talking about that thing for years. So I'll just leave that for me and the lesbians. All right. But it's just let me know. Let me know if you've ever felt that way about something. And y'all, if you want to blind buy, and this is the last note I'm going to leave this on, but buy samples, all right? Or go to Neiman Marcus or Nordstrom or Sephora, whatever perfume shop is near you. Try these fragrances for free, and also be nice to the workers there, because sometimes they even give you free fragrance samples if you request it. So that way you could save money trying a bunch of free scents. And then when you narrow down what you really, really love, you can go buy a full-size bottle of it at a discount site so you save even more money instead of paying retail price. And I feel like that's the smartest, most efficient way to go about trying a bunch of different things to avoid being let down and avoid the buyer's remorse. All right, so run it up in the comment section below. What were overhyped fragrances that you ended up hating? Give me one designer, give me one niche. All right, I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.